What's up, Yu-Gi-Oh players? So, brand new news from Rage of the Abyss. We have a bunch of brand new cards, and the thing that I'm most excited about is obviously the Mermails, as it's one of my favorite archetypes. Maybe we'll actually play this archetype. Anyways, starting right off, we have Surging Clash on Blazing Seas, which is a brand new normal spell support for waters. So it says that you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So it says 1, activate one of these effects. You discard a water monster to the graveyard, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it. The second part says you can destroy one fire monster in your hand, then you can draw one card. Second part is if only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one level 7 or 8 water or fire monster graveyard and special summon it. Wow, that's a pretty insane secondary effect. So, at first glance, I thought this was all water support. In fact, this whole video is going to be dedicated towards waters, as it's one of my favorite things. So, with this over here, it obviously has good use when you are going second. But going first, I mean, this has a lot of potential for a lot of other decks. But I was also thinking about it like, well, obviously Ash, that's a card that every deck plays, right? You can run this in a lot of different decks, potentially just with that extra card, because what that allows you to do is, well, like if you're going first, a lot of times Ash may not be super relevant, and so therefore you can go ahead and cycle and go through another card, or you can just save it so you can stop your opponent's plays. Either way, I think that this card is definitely not going to be terrible. I really wish though it was a quick effect, because having this as a quick effect would be actually pretty decent as well, because then you can set up for later, but still a pretty solid card overall. Next up, we're checking out what I really want to check out, and that is the Mermail Atlantean stuff. So I'm dedicating a whole video to it. So let's go ahead and check it out. This is my reaction first time checking out these cards as well. Except for this card I did see, because I needed to also throw it into the water stuff. Anyways, the Mermail Shadow Bodyguards is a water sea serpent effect, level 3, 0 attack and 1900 defense, and it's always treated as an Atlantean card. So it's a Mermail and Atlantean. So it says you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is you can discard one card to the graveyard. The level of all water monsters you currently control become 7 until the end of this turn. Wow. Okay, that could be kind of interesting. And it's because it's currently, because then that way you can set up to maybe go for, easier like Abysshier, right? That's a still pretty decent card. And then the second effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard, to activate a water monster's effect, you just special summon one level 4 or lower Atlantean or Mermail from the deck? What? That is pretty insane, except for Mermail Shadow Bodyguards. Also, you can't special summon monsters. It has that. I was gonna say, dude, this is gonna be so easy to pump out a bunch of, like, the extra deck cards, specifically like both Goddess. I think that this card is so good. I really wish it didn't have this part of the text, but thinking about it now, Gaios. This card is still pretty good, because, like, the first thing I think of when I hear, like, level 7s, I'm like, okay, make Big Eye, make Draco Sack, but that's not relevant this day and age in games. So, going for Abysshier is pretty good. I mean, it negates the effects of all face-up monsters you're currently controlled that have attack less than this card, and obviously, once you go for this card, if you do run certain things that can search out any of the equips, you can make this card have even more attack, because it's the attack than this card, not its original attack. So if you equip it with one thing, it's going to just basically negate everything. So I think that it is pretty nice, and it also has that bonus where 5 or higher monsters can't attack, which can be a double-edged sword, but I still think that this card still is, like, relatively decent. I mean, at least at the end of the day, you're still going to be able to at least negate one, but I guess this helps out make that. But maybe there's going to be a new, like, Exceed, so let's not get too hyped up on just making that card. So next up, we have Abysshier, the Atlantean Spirit. So we have a Water Aqua effect, level 3, 1600, 1600, and it's always treated as a Mermail card. So it says you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is you can attribute this card from your hand and one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your hand or field to take one level 7 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Also, you can't special summon monsters for the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for water. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is really locking you down. But I still think that is pretty good, considering, I mean, it's a really easy summon. Like, there's just so many. You can just go, I don't know if people even play Sphere nowadays, but the fact that you can just go and just grab anything, which I guess you could have grabbed anything anyways, but the other card, this card is really good. I mean, it's just special summons and whatever you want to go for. And then you could tribute it, go for another thing, and even adding just any of these targets to your hand, it just really opens up an insane amount of consistency. Then During your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can banish the card from a graveyard, discard one card to the graveyard, and draw a card. Wow, that's pretty good, considering you can get something discarded via a water effect and then get the bonus. I think this card's pretty solid. All right, okay, so maybe this is what we're going to be making in the new water stuff. So this is Poseidra Abyss of Abyss, the Atlantean dragon deity. Oh, I forgot Poseidra was a boss monster. But anyways, so it's a water sea serpent, exceeds effect, rank 7, 3000 attack, 18 defense, and it requires 3 level 7 monsters, but the other card makes it pretty easy then. So once per turn, you can also exceed summon Poseidra Abyss, the Atlantean dragon of deity, using 1 Atlantean or Mermail exceeds monster you control, transfer its material to this card. Okay, so basically it's just a 2 at that point. Then, once per turn, you can detach up to 2 materials from this card and send 1 water monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to return up to 3 cards your opponent controls to the hand. Okay. Are you able to make this during your opponent's turn? Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, it would be really good if it was like, this effect is a quick effect if all of it is water, but like, to try to make this card successfully go off, and good luck, man. Anyways, the second part of the effect is if this exceeds summon card is sent to the graveyard, you get to discard 1 card to the graveyard to special summon 3 level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, and or aqua monsters from your hand. Oh, that's actually a really, really good effect, concerning it doesn't negate their effects. I was automatically assuming, oh, but their effects are negated or some huge downside. But the fact that if it's just the exceeds summon card is sent to the graveyard, you could maybe use it off of your own stuff if you're like tributing or whatever the case may be. That actually is not too bad. I just really wish that this part was a quick effect. I have no idea why that they didn't make this a quick effect. It genuinely doesn't make any sense. But nonetheless, that's the effect. Alright, so maybe this is their ultimate boss monster that's going to make up for the stuff. Because, like, the other stuff brings out more stuff, but we still need a boss monster because we're still locked to waters. So this is Neptabyss, the Royal Mermail. So this is the new boss monster, right? So it's Water Sea Serpent, Link 3, 24, and the link zones are, like, in the best zones. The bottom left, bottom right. So it's 2 monsters, including a Fish Sea Serpent, or Aqua Monster. So pretty easy summon condition for that archetype. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is your opponent cannot target water monsters this card points to with card effects. Okay. So you can still target it and then get rid of it. And then the second part is if a water monster is sent to the graveyard to activate a card effect, you can take an Abyss equip spell from your deck or graveyard, either add it to your hand or equip it to this card. Oh, that's actually pretty decent. As long as you're able to do this during your opponent's turn, yeah, you get to just basically add another negate, because this is actually a pretty good effect. The third part is, if this card is destroyed by your opponent, you get to add 1 Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. I mean, it still has some recovery, but this alone is basically a negation, but you still have to get that first initial, like, activation. So something else, you can get that into the, it's just sent to the graveyard to activate a card effect. So I guess you could, you know, this, again, there's huge problems that this is not a quick effect. Like, I guess what you could do is you can go for Gaios, right? So you Gaios, you detach, and then you get to negate everything. So you get 1 negate with that card, and then you get an additional negate with this. Let me go and actually show off these cards, because I'm pretty sure you could negate, like, all of them, right? So it's an Abyss. Let me go over this just to make positive sure. Oh, let's go to spell and then go to equip. Okay, so there's one that gives 400 and it negates a monster effect. Now this one, it is a force. It says when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's side of the field, resolves, negate, and then send the card. You don't have a choice on that one. And then this one also has equipped to a Mermail when a trap effect is activated. So you don't even get to decide. It's an automatic negate. Now, it's still pretty good. I guess, yeah, you don't get to decide. So basically, you can stop. If you want to run 1 of each, sure, it could stop things. But again, it's forced. It has to be on your opponents, right? Okay, so it's opponents. When a trap is activated on your opponents, when a spell, okay, so it won't negate your own, so you can't, like, mess up. It's not like you're gonna double summon 2 Doom Cows and then prank yourself. So it won't stop your own stuff, but, yeah, I just really don't like that you can't choose. But I remember, it wasn't really that bad when I was playing. This was back in, like, I think, Duel Links days, because the Duel Links was always playing some sort of weird meta, and it wasn't really that bad playing that card, but still an okay effect of this. Now, is the second effect, okay, second and third effect, so this, you can't get it multiple times. Is this a hard once per turn too? No, these aren't hard once per turn. So if you ran multiple, yeah, you can negate like a monster and a spell. I think that the trap one's probably the least useful, but we're not done yet. So next up we have the Abyssing of Triana, which is an equip spell. Oh, maybe now this is a good one. So you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, and you can only use a third effect of it once per turn. So the first part is special summon Atlantean or Mermail from your hand or graveyard. If you do, equip it with this card. Okay. Second part is, if the equipped monster would be destroyed with battle or card effect, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. Third part is, you banish from your graveyard, target up to 3 fish, sea serpent, and or aqua monsters in your graveyard banishment, and shuffle them into the deck. So you can reset any of the stuff that maybe is like... I'm guessing like sea serpent, you just go for like Diva would be like the best target. What are the like targets for like Mermail and like stuff? I don't think is anything even at like 1. Like I don't think any of the Atlantean stuff is even at like 1 anyways. So I mean this card is pretty good, but like most of the time once you cycled through all of those, oh what was it like Dragoons? Dragoons is at 2/2. That's like one of their best cards. Remember when they had Norden? It was good for that like small little time with like instant fusion. That was pretty dang great. But I don't know if there's anything in water that you really need to reset. So as far as this goes, it's kind of mediocre. I think this is mediocre too. I mean, being able to special summon it, and then you get to maybe protect it. This is kind of like, maybe if you can use the cards as stepping stones, then you can slap this on, and then you get another card. It's okay. But I don't see this card being like super amazing. I think the other options for the equip stuff is a little bit better. Again, negations are usually the top tier. So, you know, like I said, like Mermails were like genuinely one of my favorite archetypes. But do you guys think that this makes the deck like S tier playable? I don't really like, again, that you're locked to waters. I like the more creative side of things. But it's not like terrible though. I mean, Shadow Bodyguards is pretty insane. I mean, it's just, if it's just sent to the graveyard, you can just special summon whatever. To activate the water monsters effect, but considering there's a lot of stuff where you may need to like I'm pretty sure in the TCG at least, because I remember this was like a thing with Hopper, you can't tap turn 1, so you can't like Megalo like tribute. I don't even know if you still play Megalo in this day and age, but it does allow you to, you know, not require those things to actually go for the rank 7s. But that's my thoughts on it. I think it's like okay, it's not like I see this and I'm like, okay, S tier, God tier deck. It definitely seems like it has some potential though. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. And we got a lot more new Yu-Gi-Oh cards to check out. I know it's kind of gone for a while. It's because I was playing so much of the first Ascent. Anyways, I'll be back uploading a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but because there was a huge announcement, so we're going to be dropping a lot more vids very soon. So if you're new here, don't miss out. Dropping more vids very soon. Take care and catch you guys in the next one.